Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever part of your day you are at in the day. Thank you so much for joining me once again for our 365-day journey towards a healthy, happy, and more productive you. So today we are talking about something that can be kind of scary for some people, me included. But it's something that's so important if you're going to make any sort of substantial changes in your life. So what is it? Today we are talking about habits. And habits are so important if you're going to make a big change in your life, because by making little habit changes, it totally makes over your life. And this works in any area of your life. If you want to improve your relationships, you just change the habits that you have with that person. If you want to change your financial situation, you can change different habits for savings, or there's other habit changes that you can make. If you want to change anything, then I encourage you to take a serious look at what kind of habits you have. Exercise, diet, changing your body, that all goes with habit changes. But we get in places where we feel comfortable in our lives, and then we just kind of want to stay there. But I encourage you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and definitely think about making these habit changes, because the rewards are wonderful. If you don't make these little habit changes, there's a good chance that you may not ever discover your purpose in life. You could never get the dream body that you want, and you could also live in a place where your relationships aren't so good. So definitely I encourage you just to think about maybe changing some of these habits. And I'm going to tell you some ways that make it so much easier, because it'll save you so much time. And it doesn't seem like it will, but it will. So let's get started. So the first thing to think about whenever changing your habits is not to do a complete overhaul. I am so guilty of this myself. I want to make over everything, and I want to do it all at the same time, and I want it to be fast. Like, we're in like an age where we just want fast results. We want everything now, the instant gratification. But I encourage you to take your time on this, because what happens whenever we try to focus on more than one thing at once is we end up failing. One, we have to start over a ton. Two, and it's just like not that fun, because it creates like a sense of failure. And whenever you feel like a failure, you don't want to like pursue other things. You want to create a snowball effect and do bigger and better things. So I encourage you, rule number one is work on one habit at a time. One. And the second rule, which I've been reading in this book, it's the One Thing Workbook, and it's by Monahan. What he says is whenever you form a habit, then it takes about 66 days is what the new research suggests to form that habit. So pick one habit and focus on it for 66 days. Now it seems like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get anywhere if I just focus on one thing, like I have so much to change. Don't worry about that, because if you focus on more than one thing, you're not gonna get anywhere anyways, most likely, because you're gonna be constantly starting over on everything. So just focus on one thing and get to the place, and this is rule number 3, get to the place where it feels like it's on autopilot, where you can, like, for example, if you start going to the gym on a regular basis, and like the first 66 days, let's say you're just like, oh my gosh, like I can't go anymore, I don't want to do this tonight, and you're always fighting yourself. And let's say on the 67th day, then it just like becomes where you just go to the gym, then you can move on to the next habit. It's on autopilot. But if you need more time, then take more time. So whenever you do this, then you can make a whole bunch of changes in your life. If you just go back to back 66 days, I figured out the math, you can change 5.5 habits in a year. So over 5 years, you're changing over 30 habits, and that's not over 30, it'd be like close to 30 habits. And that's pretty crazy. So I definitely encourage you, take things one at a time. One. Definitely 2, focus on them for 66 days. And number 3, do it until it's an autopilot. If you need more than 66 days, that's totally fine. Take more time, just make those habits in concrete. And what you're gonna find is you'll get all of these wonderful things will start happening in your life. You'll be able to achieve more success if that's what you wanna do. You'll be able to lose weight, get a more healthy diet. Like, there's so many possibilities in this habit change, which we'll be discussing throughout the entire year. But thank you so much for joining me for this video. And if you haven't yet, subscribe at the red button below, and I will see you next week. All right, thank you. Bye.